Alright, what is up, my mates? We're in a slightly different setting, but I am in a hotel due to work, and I felt compelled to at last make a certain review because in my hotel I have just finished, at long last, a very good book, and one that I'm excited to review as it is a book by my co-worker, and that book is A Nightmare in Oz by David M. Keyes. David has continued on the stories from L. Frank Baum. I never really knew about Oz beyond the Wizard of Oz movie, from the 60s. And I think it wasn't until the James Franco prequel about the Wizard of Oz that I actually kind of realized and looked into it that, oh, this is based on a book. I never knew that. I thought it was just some, original creation that they made for the movie back then because, kind of like Disney, it was around that same time. I thought it was just some cool, kids thing, but it's a lot more complicated than that. There have been tons of continuations, and I think a few books that the author himself did beyond just The Wizard of Oz, but I had never been into it. Oz wasn't really something that I wanted to visit, after I got older, until I met David. He told me he was an author, immediately intrigued, as I am an aspiring author, as you guys might know. And just hearing his concept for this book, and showing me the cover, and I'm like, this is gonna be good. This is interesting. Like, this is making me, want to see it through different eyes and the sort of a darker twist, which it does have. That doesn't mean it's like Zack Snyder dark and edgy. Like, it's got some spooky mystery and unease to it, and he captures that very well. And as the minute I picked it up, I was intrigued. You're just reading about Dorothy having these nightmares, which, spoilers alert, she's having nightmares, and then other people that are from Earth that have come into Oz are starting to fall into these nightmares, and some of them don't wake up. And it's kind of crazy, and it's, there's this big mystery that's unfolding. They're trying to figure out why, and this whole thing about a certain ancient tree that's suspiciously growing. The tree that is doing the damage, and then you find out, oh, it's the Wicked Witch. Which was cool, because, you kind of might have expected it, but not really, because as far as we know, she melted in the water, right? No. And that's kind of the exciting part, and seeing how all the pieces fall together, it's very well done. I really liked how he crafted that, and I really liked how the characters were as well. I think he really captures Dorothy and captures her in a new light too, kind of making her more complex, but not really, because at her core she's still kind and nice and a pure, sweet person who cares about her friends and family. It's also cool seeing where some of the characters that we might recognize are at too, like the Tin Man. He's an emperor now. I was like, holy shit, that's fucking cool. I don't know why that got to me. I was like, this is sick. The Tin Man and leading an army against the witch, that one stuck out to me. It was cool to see the Lion too, of course, and the Scarecrow. They both play important parts, and it was also interesting to see more of the Wizard of Oz, because he's kind of one of the ones doing some of the investigating early on in the story, and it was nice to see him active, because at least in the movie, from what I remember, he's this kind of a mysterious guy at the end who gives them rewards. And then the James Franco movie, I also barely remember. I saw it once, but I know he was more of a parlor magician than an actual wizard, and it was interesting seeing that. But I liked David's take on him, with his knowledge and wisdom coming in, more of a presence than the original Oz movie. So I did enjoy that. And I'm sorry I'm using the movie as my reference, because that's my only knowledge of Oz. So yeah, they play an important part in the book, of course, and they still have some of their little quirks and, issues that they're still dealing with from, what we see in the movie, like you see how they've grown and how they're still struggling, but they keep it together to be there for Dorothy and their other human friends, and it's really sweet and wholesome and very well developed, and I'm excited to see how much more they grow in the other books. Another character, one of the original characters of David's that stuck out to me was the prideful panther. It seemed very like an Oz character, with the naming and just how the character acted, and was an interesting, reminiscent of them on the Yellow Brick Road, because they are trying to figure things out, and they come across the panther, who has some part to play in them figuring things out. So it was pretty cool. And of course, Glinda plays a big role. She's continuing to mentor Dorothy and set her on the path that she's essentially destined to walk. And you kind of find that out in the end, after they defeat the witch, which the battle for the witch was very exciting, very intense. He's so descriptive with the battle and just how the tree moves and how the witch is talking. You really feel like you're there in this creepy cavern with evil branches coming at you, and the witch's echoey voice giving illusions and trying to trap all the characters in this nightmare state. And it was exciting to read, honestly, and I also liked how the book didn't just end with that. There was a nice little ending bit where they kind of reflect on everything, and even just how the witch is defeated was interesting, with Dorothy essentially apologizing to her for ending her initial existence, and a very Dorothy thing to do, which I liked. And the ending, you get some good closure. It's not just over. Yep, book's over. Witch is gone again. You get to hear the character's thoughts and kind of hint at what's to come, because David has written a few others. There's quite a lot out now. Here they are. And you even get a little epilogue story with this mysterious lady going into the ruins of where the battle happened and getting some sap. So we'll see what happens in the next book. I'm grateful for David for letting me have a copy of his book and giving it a good read. And I'm excited to continue reading his books and putting this on the NateThyMate. Maybe I'm a little biased because I know him and I know he's probably gonna watch this, but I don't think so, because I do think it is a very well-crafted story. I think he shows a lot of exciting new things, but keeping in a lot of what Oz was about. Like it feels like something from that world. Like it doesn't seem out of place to me as someone who's not super into it. Now I am with his stories, but as a more of an outsider to the lore and to the genre, I guess, it was exactly like I was watching the movie, but like a continuation of it. And I really enjoyed it, and putting on the NateThyMate, I'm going to give it a 10. A 10. David is a great guy, great friend. I'm very excited I got to meet him, because I got the opportunity to read this fantastic book, which I very much recommend if you're like me and you don't really have much interest in Oz. I think you will if you read this, or if you really do like Oz, or you are kind of on the movie thing, because they just came out with Wicked, and Oz is kind of coming back, and a lot of people really liked Wicked, and I think if you like that, you will probably like this. Very much recommend. I'm going to leave all of David's Amazon links in the description so you can get the book yourself. It is on Kindle Unlimited. I believe they all are. I know I queued them all up, because I kind of switch between reading Kindle and reading the physical copy. But yes, thank you very much for watching, my mates. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you check out David's work. And I'll see you in the next video.